Hi, Kathy. Do you want to follow me into my office today?
Oh, yes, absolutely, sure.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just here because I ran out of my medication and it has really been very helpful. But other than that, I'm doing good.
And which medication are you referring to?
I'm referring to my Xanax, the one that helps me when I get anxious. I've been taking them and I ran out a little bit earlier than they've been so helpful. So I have been taking them.
So when we first initiated this medication, we went over the directions and the instructions that it was only to take as needed, and it was for a short-term treatment.
Oh, what do you mean short term? But it's helping me out. Like I'm using them. Yeah. It's helping me with the anxiety though.
Well, I'm glad it's helping because that's what it should be doing. But this is not a long-term medication. This is not something that you can stay on for a long time.
Oh. So what am I supposed to be doing in the meantime?
So, well,
I can't.
first the medication should be taken as prescribed, but it sounds like you ran out early, so you may have been taking more than what we had agreed upon.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I have been taking more. You're right. I have been taking more than you ordered me to take.
Okay.
And the reason is because I guess I kind of go taking it because I don't want to get to a position where I kind of anticipate getting anxious.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it kind of like to prevent it.
Okay. So it sounds like you're describing the need for like a maintenance medication where the Xanax is supposed to be when you're in dire need, you're having a panic attack, you're having an anxiety attack, and you can't fight it, and all your other techniques aren't working, so you take that to kind of gain some control and some balance and to calm down. What you're describing is sounding like you're getting anxious about getting anxious, and you're trying to prevent those feelings, so you're taking it when you don't even need it.
Yeah, now that you say it like that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've been
So
trying to do.
on a scale from 0 to 10, how bad is your anxiety attacks when you do get them?
Sometimes it's a 10 on a scale, but other times it's like a 4, a 3, but I
Okay.
still take them even regardless. Like I just anticipate something coming up that's gonna make me anxious. Like if I'm going to a board meeting, even though I'm prepared, I just think about the other times that I went there and I was like sweaty. I was getting all anxious. Like really couldn't present. So I'm avoiding those episodes. So I take them before I go. They just kind of even out my mood.
What, when you take the medication, what is your anxiety when you're on the medication?
It's good. It's good. Like when I take the medication, like 2, 3 hours after I take them, like 4 hours, I do feel good. I'm level headed.
So
In
like
a
a 0 or a 1, maybe?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. What did you do when you had these anxiety attacks before you had this medication?
Sometimes I would get mad. Other times I'll talk to my friend. I'll go for a walk. Like I'll stop whatever I was doing and then kind of disengage for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of ease out. So that would help sometimes, and sometimes it didn't help. But what I did was that I get up and go for a walk. I started doing something different
Okay.
in order to change the environment that was provoking me.
Okay. So is it okay if I ask a couple of personal questions?
Yeah.
So what is there something going on in your life personally that maybe you're taking the medication more, or is it just that you're taking it to try to prevent any anxiety attacks?
This is two scenario because sometimes I have more stressors than others, like some periods.
Mm-hmm.
Other times I take them just to prevent
Okay.
getting that anxious feeling.
So sometimes these medications can create rebound anxiety. They're kind of like band-aids where we kind of band-aid the problem while we're working on other methods or techniques to cope with these feelings. So that's just kind of like a blanket just to get us through. Um, these medications are not meant to be taken long term. They're not meant to be taken frequently, a lot. Um, and sometimes, if you're taking them more than prescribed and longer than anticipated, you can actually give yourself more anxiety from it. And then it's hard to actually, you can't stop it abruptly. It's harder to get off of it. And the more that you take it, the more your body gets used to it and will need higher doses and more of it.
I think
So sometimes when you think that you're doing yourself good by preventing something, you're actually maybe creating more anxiety for yourself by giving yourself more of this medication.
yeah,
So it's kind of like a contraindication because you're thinking you're doing something that's helping you, but you may be in turn on the other end not really helping yourself. So I don't want you to abruptly stop this medication because it's in your system and a little bit has to remain, but we'll bring the dose and the frequency down a little bit so that your body is still getting some of it so you don't have any withdrawal symptoms, but we'll take some of it away. Um, we can work on other techniques that would be beneficial to you during these times of high stress and anxious moments. And then we can revisit some of the ideas you used to do before this medication was in your hands. Um, Tell me how you feel about how did you feel before with the medication when you mentioned you were taking walks and some of the other ideas that relieved your anxiety?
they were helpful. They were helpful, but they came right back. So it didn't last for a longer period of time.
Okay.
So, for example, if I was at home, the kids were making noise, I was getting anxious or getting overwhelmed with um, planning out my day, and I get up. I don't live far from the waterfront. I get up and go for a walk. Um, I feel refreshed. I feel relaxed. When I
Mhm.
came back, I'll be able to maybe get meals done and clean and do a couple of things. But then I find myself again getting anxious, like planning for the next day or planning the next event. And so they were short-lived. So I don't know if there were other strategies that I could use, you know, to continuously manage this.
Do you have any ideas when you get anxious about planning the next day? Do you have any ideas what would relieve that anxiety? What other alternatives that you could do?
If I planned it ahead of time,
Okay.
like a week ahead of time, I kind of like know that on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm doing this activity, I'm doing this activity.
Mhm.
But if I'm just sitting down today and looking at all the things and places that I have to go
Mhm.
and fulfill tomorrow, I'm like 24 hours a day can't just be right. There's just no way I can get through this. So then I start getting more and more anxious about it and overwhelmed. I pick my face and, I've broken out in hives and acne, especially, during those periods because I just feel as if I need help, getting these things done.
So you're overwhelmed with kind of how busy your schedule is, but it may be better if you looked at your schedule throughout the week and had it broken up into a little bit of those priorities that you had to do each day.
Yes, that has helped in the past.
Okay. Because that seems more of a healthy alternative than, taking this medication for preventative measures when it's not even a time of need.
Okay.
We could also talk about other daily maintenance medications to prevent these feelings, because that's an option too.
Okay.
But we could try to explore what the ways that used to work for you and maybe work on them a little bit so they stay working and that it just doesn't go away.
I think so. I think that I'm really having some benevolence about stopping this medication. Can you just give me for another 2 weeks?
Yep, so we're not going to completely stop it, but it was prescribed to take it um, zero point 0.5 milligrams twice a day. So we'll keep the same dose of 0.5 milligrams, but we'll bring it down to once a day. And then you have two options. You can take the zero point 0.5 milligram tablet and cut it in half. So you're taking a pill still twice a day, but it's going to be less of the dose. And then this way your body will acclimate to having less of this in your system. So we could do that for a week, and then we can meet up next week, revisit how you're feeling. And then if you're doing okay, we can take away a little more.
Hmm.
If you're not doing okay, we could reevaluate our treatment plan.
Okay.
But we won't take it completely away from you, but we'll do a little bit at a time so that you shouldn't feel any withdrawal symptoms or you shouldn't feel the effects of it going away.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so we'll plan, like I said, I'll write the prescription for 0.5 milligrams up to once a day. And you can either take the whole pill at once, only once a day, or you can take it half a tablet twice a day. But you cannot have any more than 0.5 milligrams in a day.
Okay. All
So
right.
this is something that you can't get from other providers. You can't fill at multiple pharmacies. It should only be coming from me. This is a controlled substance. Um, so we worry about dependence and tolerance on these types of medications, and they're not to be taken in any other way than as prescribed. And if you fill it or run out sooner and you need
Okay.
more, then I can't keep prescribing this for you.
Hmm. All right. Let's try that.
Okay.
That's the
All right.
thing.
So let's meet up again next week and we can revisit how you're feeling.
Okay.
And then in
Okay.
the meantime, maybe you could practice utilizing some of the techniques that you used to use before having the medication.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So I'm gonna switch roles.
Yeah, we'll flip.
Hi, Kathy. Good
Hi.
afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm feeling much better. I just ran out of the medication sooner than I had anticipated. I don't think you gave me enough medication.
Oh, well, welcome back. I see that you're thinking that you're saying that you run out of the medication, the Xanax that I prescribed, because that's the only medication that I prescribed from this office for you. Is that what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about your usage of this medication. How are you using it? What are the directions that you're using it? Because I know what I ordered for you.
So I take it anywhere between 1 to 3 times a day, depending on my day. If it's a very stressful day, I'll take it 3 times a day. There was a day I took it 4 times a day, but it's usually 2 to 3 times a day, every
So
day.
what are the okay? So what are the circumstances that prompt you to use this medication? What are the circumstances? What is going on? What provokes you to use them?
Um, it's a little bit of everything at work, at home. If my boss is hovering over me, annoying me, demanding more things, stressing me out, putting more things on my plate, my desk is piling up. And then if I come home, the kids have all these extracurricular activities. I'm running around like crazy. I'm behind on dinner, behind on laundry, and I'm just so overwhelmed and I get stressed out that I just take the medication and it makes me feel better. So I pretty much take it every time I get stressed out throughout the day.
So that is taking it more than I actually prescribe. So
Hmm.
if I may try to understand what you're, I'm having a hard time trying to understand. Let's back up here a little bit. So what do you think about your overuse of this medication, like using it more frequently than I ordered? And what do you think about that?
Um, I mean, I just think I just need more medication because it's a medication that you gave me and it works. So I just need more of it.
Okay. So in the past, what were you doing prior to these medications? I know they were probably, not very helpful. That's why we resorted to doing the same things, improving on the things that you were doing in the past, in addition to the medication. So have you been doing those relaxation strategies, those distraction strategies that you were doing prior to me starting this medication?
No, I've replaced my previous strategies with just taking the medication. The medication works better than the strategies. So I just take the med now and I don't do the strategies anymore. And I
Oh,
used to take a daily medication, but I didn't want to take something every day and there were side effects to it, so I just stopped that.
okay. So now let's consider the worst possible case scenario. Um, if you did not have this medication moving forward, how would your typical day be? How do you plan to restructure your day and manage these anxiety feelings that you're having?
I guess I haven't thought about that because I haven't thought about being without the medication because it just works so well. I just thought I could just keep getting it.
Hmm. Well, unfortunately, I will not keep giving you this medication because this medication Xanax is intended for short-term use. So I cannot keep prescribing it for you if you're overusing it and not following the directions on how I prescribe the medication. One, because of the side effects of this medication, and overusing this medication will result to some dependency on these medications that
But
would
I don't have
cause,
any side effects from it.
well, you're using the medications to kind of numb other feelings that you have. Is that correct? Like not wanting to deal with, planning your day, not wanting to deal with, restructuring your activities. Initially, before we started this medication, you were doing little walks, you were doing relaxation strategies, you were visiting with friends, avoiding isolation. And from your acknowledgement today is that you're not doing all these things because you're dependent on this medication.
Yes, that's correct, but the medication works, so I just don't understand why I just can't keep having it. I can't function without it. I get angry, I get irritable. I can't, I'd rather not be without it. I'll just have to try to get it from somewhere else.
Well, getting it from somewhere else. So what you're saying is that you're planning to try to seek another provider to give you this medication.
Yes, I need it and it works.
What do
And
you,
it's not like I'm taking drugs.
um, just for clarification purposes, yes, Xanax is a medication. It's a prescribed medication, so it's a prescribed drugs. It's a controlled substance that should be taken as ordered. Okay, and because this is an FDA controlled medication, it's being monitored. So if you were to go to another provider and get this medication order to you, then you'll be doing yourself a disfavor. You'll be doing yourself a disfavor. You will not be managing your symptoms. You will not be working on proficiently managing your symptoms and dealing with your anxiety attacks. And that can only get worse in the future.
Okay.
All right. And as I listen to you reflect on the challenges that you're anticipating facing if you stop the medication, um, do you believe that you have to change anything about your lifestyle right now um, to manage your symptoms?
I mean, I don't think that I can. I because I can't. I have to work. I have a family. I would like to change some things about it. I just not sure how much I can change.
Well, this is all. So tell me again, if we may retract, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the lowest, like your need for the medication, 0 being the lowest, your need for the medication, and 10 being your desire to get this medication. How bad do you think that you need this medication right now to function?
10.
Why is it a 10 and not a 9? Why is it a
Because when I had the same schedule I had before the medication, and my schedule, it's so busy that it just seems more manageable when I take the medication. I feel crazy when I don't have it and I have to deal with my schedule.
what could you possibly do to move that number from that 10 to a 0? What would a 0 mean to you?
A 0 would mean I'm relaxed all day, maybe like
Okay.
at a spa.
Okay. How about like your activities and doing your daily chores at work, at home, dealing with the kids? How would that influence that?
Well, now that the winter's coming, the activities with the kids are not as hectic as they usually are because there's
Okay.
not as many activities in the winter for them. So my schedule might lighten up soon.
And with your schedule lighting up, you think that you have more time to do journaling, to go for walks?
Yeah, I could probably start doing the relaxation techniques I used to use.
Okay. So, in addition to this medication, if you continue to practice these relaxation strategies, then you're more likely to look at, an optimal function or come a day when um, you can go without taking this medication. Have you ever thought about a time coming where you didn't feel anxious, you didn't have to take medications, you didn't have to mindfully do relaxation strategies? Have you thought about a future like that for yourself?
Yeah, that would be really nice.
That would be nice. But have you thought about like that day when you just get up and feel normal and feel functional? And I'm just trying to get you to imagine, the positive future that you might have not having to deal with medications.
Yeah, that sounds desirable.
That sounds desirable. Is that where you would want to be someday?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Definitely it will need some steps. It will need you to initiate some steps to get there. And you are on the right track right now. Coming to see me, I have to say that is a step forward, acknowledging that, you have a problem taking this medication, taking, because you could have as well lied to me and say, well, you lost the bottle or the dog ate the medication. But I have to say you were honest to say, you know what, I have this problem and this is what I've been doing to kind of, deal with this problem. And throughout our session today, you've kind of recognized and anticipate a future where you can go without this medication. And that is a step forward. So today, I will not completely stop this medication. I will decrease the dose. You are currently
Okay.
taking the 1 milligram two times a day. We can cut it back to 0.5 milligrams 2 times a day, only if you need it. I really emphasize on the fact that only if you need it, like if your anxiety level is above an 8 on a scale. If you're having anxiety level that is between a 0 and a 4, I want you to try to practice those relaxation strategies.
Okay.
Okay. So what would you do if your anxiety level was a 3? What would you do?
Well, I used to use these breathing techniques,
Okay.
and I
And
would count and take deep breaths. That was
okay.
helpful in the past. Sometimes if I was home, I could walk away into a more quiet area. That was
So
helpful.
okay, that's good. That's really good. So is that something that you plan to practice this 1 week that you're gonna go home with a limited number of the medication, limited dosage of the medication?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So let's do that. Okay. And
Okay.
you can always call, we do have over the phone support triage line that you can call and, kind of explain what is going on, and they can just help you, reminisce and revisit all your strategies, sometimes how to deal with them. Talking to somebody might also help de-escalate your anxiety level. So having that support, system from us as well.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll write the script just like I say. It will be a 0.5 milligram instead of the 1 milligram. And it will really be very joyous to see you next week with some medication in the bottle saying that, oh, well, Linda, I didn't get to take them. I did such and such strategies. I went for a walk. I went for a walk with the dog. I went out with my husband. I called my friend. I spoke to my mother. And that kind of got me over the hump, and I didn't have to take the medication. So I'm really looking forward to those positive outcome, if you may, next week.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, you have our number to call. You take care of yourself. Remember, you have the zeal, you are wanting to help yourself and help the situation, and you're in the right track doing that by just coming here and following the treatment plan.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you next week. They're going to give you the script, okay?
Okay.